The galaxy, once a beacon of hope, now lay under a darkening shadow. It was an era of uneasy peace, where countless species had been brought to heel under the Zorth dominion, a vast empire of highly advanced alien civilizations. Their technological superiority had crushed countless planets, enslaving billions, leaving only a scattered resistance across the galaxy. For centuries, Earth had been a part of that cold, unfeeling empire. A once thriving planet, its cultures, people, and resources had been stripped, all but forgotten. Its surface, now scarred by years of subjugation, was a far cry from the vibrant world that had birthed humanity. Yet, amidst the desolation, a strange, unspoken force had allowed humanity to endure. They had survived the Zoratha's dominance and slowly adapted to their new reality. But something darker was coming. A strange cosmic anomaly had appeared on the edge of the galaxy, a ripple in the fabric of space itself. Stars blinked out of existence, planets evaporated, and entire fleets of ships vanished without a trace. The anomaly spread faster than any force the Zorath had ever encountered. It wasn't a natural phenomenon. No, this was something new, something deliberate, something alive. Vorik, the Supreme Chancellor of the Zorath Dominion, stared at the holographic map before him. It was a projection of the galaxy, and the anomaly was spreading like an infection, devouring everything in its path. The once great dominion, the empire that had taken millennia to build, was faltering. Nothing the Zorath had done, not their most advanced technologies, not even their greatest minds, had offered a solution. They were helpless. His fists clenched. "Report!" he demanded, his voice booming with authority. His chief scientist, Dr. Iliara, hesitated before stepping forward. "Chancellor, we have analyzed the data. Every strategy we've tried has failed. We have no way to contain the anomaly. It is unlike anything we've encountered before." A heavy silence fell over the council chamber. The Zorath Dominion had never been in such a position. They had conquered civilizations, obliterated countless species, and crushed every enemy that dared to oppose them. But here they were, at the mercy of an unknown force. Fear, something they had not experienced in centuries, hung in the air. "What do you suggest, Iliara?" Vorik asked, his voice strained but composed. "We need to find a solution beyond our technology, something more organic. We need to consider alternatives," Iliara said. "Perhaps we should seek out the humans." A murmur rippled through the council. The humans. Their race was considered primitive by the Zorath, nothing more than a minor annoyance in the grand scheme of the galaxy. Earth had been conquered, its resources plundered, its people enslaved. Yet, despite their supposed inferiority, humans had something the Zorath had never understood: resilience. They were survivors, a species capable of enduring hardship and coming out stronger on the other side. Vorik turned to Iliara with a piercing gaze. "You are suggesting we turn to the humans for help?" Iliara nodded. "Yes, they have survived in ways that defy logic. Perhaps their biology holds the key to understanding this anomaly. Their tenacity is unlike any other species." The room fell silent again as Vorik contemplated the proposition. It was a bitter pill to swallow, asking for help from a species they had long enslaved. But the anomaly was spreading too quickly, and the Zorath had no other choice. "We will send a delegation to Earth," Vorik declared, his voice tinged with reluctant acceptance. "But mark my words, Iliara. If the humans fail us, there will be no mercy." On Earth, things had changed. The planet was a mere shadow of its former self, ravaged by centuries of Zorath oppression. The once powerful nations had fallen, their borders erased, their cultures blended into one homogenized global regime under the control of their alien masters. The people of Earth had endured unspeakable hardships, forced labor, exploitation, and the systematic destruction of their heritage. The very essence of what it meant to be human had been buried under the weight of an empire that sought to erase them. But humanity's spirit had never been fully broken. In the quiet corners of Earth, in the hidden resistance groups that had formed in secret, people still dreamed of freedom. They had learned to adapt, to find hope in the most unlikely places. And among them was Dr. Julian Carter, a man who had once been hailed as one of Earth's brightest minds. A leading astrophysicist who had once helped design humanity's first interstellar spacecraft, Carter had been forced into servitude by the Zorith after his breakthrough in quantum mechanics had caught their attention. His mind, once free to explore the universe, was now shackled to the alien overlords who controlled every aspect of his life. Carter had spent years researching the very anomaly that was now threatening the galaxy. He had watched as it grew, felt the cold grip of inevitability as it devoured star systems. Yet he refused to give in to despair. He knew that humanity had survived worse, that they could survive again. He had faith in the human spirit. When the Zorith delegation arrived on Earth, Carter knew the moment had come. The aliens were desperate. They needed the humans, whether they admitted it or not. The Zoritha's arrival was not met with the trembling fear of centuries past, but with cautious resolve. Humanity had something the Zorith didn't understand, an ability to think outside the constraints of empire, to challenge the very forces that sought to destroy them. Carter stood before the delegation, his heart pounding in his chest. He had prepared for this day his entire life, but now, facing the reality of it, he felt the weight of humanity's future pressing down on him. "We will help you," Carter said, his voice steady despite the tension that threatened to choke him. "But in exchange, you must recognize the sovereignty of Earth. Our people will no longer be your slaves. We are no longer your subordinates." The Zorith leader, Vorik, narrowed his eyes. There was a flicker of hesitation before he spoke. "You ask for much, human, but the galaxy is on the brink of destruction. We will agree to your terms. If you can save us, Earth will be free. I give you my word." It was an agreement made out of necessity, not trust, but it was a start. The Zorith had long underestimated humanity. They would learn to regret that miscalculation. The alliance between the humans and the Zorith was fragile, built on mutual desperation rather than any real understanding or respect. But despite the tension, both sides knew they had no other choice. If they were to survive, they would have to work together. Carter and his team of scientists began working alongside the Zoritha's top researchers, trying to understand the anomaly. It wasn't just a simple cosmic disturbance. It was something far more complex. The Zoritha's technology, while advanced, was not equipped to deal with this new phenomenon. They had never encountered something like it before. For weeks, Carter and his colleagues pored over data, studying the anomaly's behavior, searching for patterns. What they discovered shocked them. The anomaly was not a random event. It was a living entity, one that seemed to feed off the energy of stars, consuming everything in its path. And it was growing stronger with each passing moment. The Zorith, for the first time in their history, found themselves relying on human ingenuity. Carter and his team designed sophisticated simulations, tested theories, and crafted equations that pushed the boundaries of science. Together, the humans and the Zorith worked tirelessly, knowing that failure was not an option. Yet, as the days passed, it became clear that the Zoritha's reliance on their own advanced technology was only a hindrance. They had become too rigid, too set in their ways. The humans, however, approached the problem with fresh eyes. They thought outside the box, coming up with solutions that the Zorith had never even considered. As the crisis deepened, tensions between the two species began to rise. While the Zorith had agreed to Earth's sovereignty, their pride was not easily quelled. They were a race that had once ruled the galaxy, and the idea that humanity might hold the key to saving them, saving the entire galaxy, was not one they could swallow easily. Vorik, who had once viewed humanity as little more than an insect to be crushed, now found himself relying on them in ways he had never imagined. But even as he begrudgingly acknowledged their usefulness, He could not shake the feeling of disdain that lingered in his heart. "You are a clever species, human," Vorik said one day, his voice tinged with bitterness. "But make no mistake, you are still beneath us. We are the Zorith Dominion. We do not ask for help. We demand it." Carter met his gaze calmly, his voice unwavering. "Perhaps you should have thought of that before you chose to conquer our planet. But we are here now, and we will do what it takes to survive." The words hung in the air, thick with the weight of history. For a moment, it seemed as though the fragile alliance might fracture. But then, something remarkable happened. Vorik, for all his arrogance and pride, saw something in Carter's eyes, a conviction that even he could not deny. Humanity, despite all the suffering it had endured, had something the Zorith lacked: heart. Vorik's posture softened, if only slightly. "Do what you must, human," he said. "Just save us." Carter's team made a breakthrough. The anomaly was not merely an energy field. It was a sentient being, a creature that fed on the energy of stars and planets. And it was aware of their presence. It was not merely consuming. It was hunting. Carter realized that the anomaly could be communicated with, that it could be reasoned with if only they could find the right frequencies. The solution lay not in technology alone, but in a deep understanding of both quantum mechanics and interdimensional physics. The Zorith had the tools, but humanity had the creativity to see the problem from a new angle. They devised a plan to generate resonant frequencies that would reach into the heart of the anomaly, destabilizing it and forcing it to retreat. But the energy required to generate these frequencies was immense. It could potentially destroy Earth in the process. The risk was astronomical, but if they failed to act, the entire galaxy would fall. Carter knew what needed to be done. "I'll do it," he said, stepping forward. "I'll initiate the frequencies." Vorik stared at him, uncertainty flickering in his alien eyes. "Are you certain?" Carter nodded, his resolve unwavering. "Humanity has survived this long because we don't give up. Not now. Not ever." The chamber was silent as Carter activated the device, his fingers steady despite the monumental task ahead. The frequencies began to pulse, sending waves of energy into the fabric of space. The anomaly reacted almost immediately, its consuming force weakening as the resonant waves interacted with its structure. It was a battle of wills, a struggle between the unknown and the will to survive. And for the first time in centuries, the Zorith Dominion was forced to watch as humanity, a species they had long underestimated, fought back with everything it had. The anomaly flickered, its destructive energy ebbing as it was destabilized by the frequencies. Carter stood firm, knowing that the slightest miscalculation could destroy everything. And then, with a final, deafening roar, the anomaly collapsed in on itself, retreating into the dark recesses of space where it could no longer threaten the galaxy. The stars began to shine once again, their light no longer obscured by the consuming void. Humanity had done it. The galaxy was saved. Vorik, who had watched this unfold, stood in stunned silence. The Zorith, for the first time in their history, acknowledged humanity's strength. Earth was no longer their colony. It was a sovereign world, one that would never again be subjugated. Humanity had proven that even in the darkest of times, even when the odds were insurmountable, they would rise. The galaxy had underestimated them, but not anymore. The years that followed were marked by profound change. Humanity, once a conquered species, now stood as a pillar of the galaxy. The Zorith, humbled by their own failure and the unexpected strength of humanity, sought counsel from their new allies. And in return, humanity shared their knowledge of resilience, of innovation, and of the unyielding drive to survive. Earth, once a small, insignificant planet, now played a crucial role in the galaxy's future. No longer slaves, humanity stood tall as a force to be reckoned with. The Zorith learned that in the end, it was not their technology or their power that ensured their survival. It was the indomitable will of humanity. And as humanity looked to the stars, they knew this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, and humanity had only just begun to explore it.